Look at that fucking jumper. Swag.
Hey guys, Sam here, and today's video is going to be about a memorable title from the Nintendo Wii's library. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. So, as of posting this video, the 2016 Summer Olympic Games are taking place as the world's biggest sporting tournament, full stop. Following London 2012, where I got to see rowing at Eton Downey, saw Usain Bolt qualify, and shook the hands of former London Mayor Boris Johnson, this year's sports orgy has flown across the equator to Rio in Brazil. Even with fearsome doubts of the Brazilian economy suffering through billions of cash being blown on fancy, corporate shows like the last World Cup from 2014 that was also hosted in Brazil. Now, in terms of video games, there have been athletic Olympic Games ever since the 1980s, with the likes of Konami's Track and Field and Daley Thompson's Decathlon on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum, luring people with an accurate portrayal of the 1984 Los Angeles event. Minus the inclusion of gold by Spandau Ballet. Sorry. However, the game that I'm most interested in covering today is Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games on the Nintendo Wii, because it's a title that I can easily relate to. Think about it, this was one of my Christmas presents in 2007. Gordon Brown was the UK Prime Minister before a pig-choking sausage boy took over the next decade, and my brother Ollie had an entire YouTube channel dedicated to the old school RuneScape in the same year as well. In 2007 in general, the Wii was proving to be an unprecedented success, thanks to its enjoyable library of software and unique motion sensor controllers which were demonstrated in typical Nintendo fashion with the bundled Wii Sports. Back then, the idea of having both the plumber and hedgehog in one game together was literally unheard of, especially considering how they were the biggest rivals of the 1990s, constantly on a pissing contest that upped their ante with every new generation of platforms until the Sega Dreamcast's unfortunate death in 2002, 5 years before this game was released for the public to consume. To add the cherry on top of this sweet cake was the announcement of Sonic being a playable character on the then upcoming Super Smash Bros. BRUUUH, predating similar unveils for the last Super Smash Bros. With lovely characters like Shulk, Lucina, Bayonetta, Pac-Man, alongside more delicious newcomers. Now with that small history lesson all finished, I'd say that now is the time to sit down and start playing this bloody spiffing game. Ah yes, the old reminder that you should always wear the Wii Remote's wrist strap whenever using it. I mean, it's not compulsory, but you don't want to destroy that lovely TV you're using to play with it, right? Also, Beijing 2008. Damn, this takes me back. It's actually amazing to realise how that event now took place 8 years ago. I can still remember being on a family summer holiday to Yorkshire when that splendid opening ceremony took place. Following that continuity is an impressive opening cinematic for the game, showing all the events portrayed in a determined, excited pace through the mix of both Nintendo and Sega characters from the Mario and Sonic series respectively. Honestly, I would even go as far to say that this intro alone is much better than the entirety of Sonic 06, which never saw a Wii release and was substituted with the solid and fun Sonic and the Secret Rings, another game that I got around in late 2007. However, as good as the intro may seem on paper, the real test is now to see whether the game really did live up to the hype of two gaming conglomerates united in one big game. So, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games is really good, huh? Really? Is it really? Upon starting the game, you're asked to set up your own save file with a flag to indicate your country, and there is space for 4 players to access their own unique profile. Nice. In the main menu, you have a variety of choices to select, from the single match mode, missions, to even records of the best player scores around the world, courtesy of Nintendo's Wi-Fi connection. Well, if the service was still alive and kicking today, that was. Anyways, the game includes a vast majority of events divided into small chunks of modes, so that you don't fall into the trap of mistaking the swimming for the javelin throw, vice versa. Simple shit basically. That said, there are 2 events that will need to be unlocked by competing in the game's circuit modes and destroying the competition by playing as my own little me, who's willing to represent TGB in this outdated game and mess things up like a former Manchester United manager. #Dench. murky, Ren boys. Hold up, hang on. Mentioning trendy buzzwords on the script to a video, rude boy, shut up! To start off, I began with the Mercury Cup, playing Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games for the first time since the Beijing Olympics were relevant in 2008, and honestly, I had no problem getting to grips with the controls and gameplay whatsoever, and that's always a good feature if we're dissecting this game from an arcade viewpoint. For instance, with the 100-meter race, all you need to do is shake your Wii remote as rapidly as possible, which, as dumb and lazy as that sounds, it's quite similar to the button mashing residuals of old school Olympic games, with the added benefit of sore fingers and pain amongst millions of gamers. For the next event, the long jump followed up, and it seems like good old Sammy Sausage is still determined to kick ass and chew gum on behalf of Team GB following a great display at the 100-meter race! Well, that was fucking disgraceful. That's it. I'm not playing these silly games anymore! No! Basically, and unfortunately, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games is essentially a glorified minigame compilation revolving around sports to justify its status as an official Olympic video game! And considering the context of when this game came out in late 2007, it could easily be regarded as a rip-off of Nintendo's groundbreaking Wii Sports. But thankfully, Sega does manage to add more meat to the game's metaphorical bones to help mold its aim of being a solid, fun game to play with your friends. The game includes a total of 24 events to compete, all of which are traditional events and regulations found in the tournament itself, excluding the Dream events, and there are 16 characters to play, with 8 Mario characters and 8 from the Sonic side. However, these characters are divided into 4 types, specialising in power, speed, skill, and all-round versatile choices like the Mario Brothers. Furthermore, one feature that I did enjoy was the gallery area, where you can learn about the history of the Olympics in general by playing elementary, easy-to-master minigames. Personally, the biggest problem that I have with this game is the range of events that you get to play with. For instance, swimming alone takes up 20% of what you can compete in the entire game with 5 mini-events, with minor changes except the way you use the Wii remote for controls. Sometimes a nunchuck is required to play in some modes, which can be a bit of a hassle to try digging around plugging it to the Wii remote, and you can't use a GameCube nor Wii Classic controller to allow for more multiplayer opportunities, so yeah, the controls are a bit poor, I'm just saying, but they work fine in plenty of situations. Like the point and shooting of Skeet, similar to Duck Hunt with the NES Zapper in 1985, the rackets of table tennis, running, etc. Thankfully, these problems have been addressed in future installments of the Mario and Sonic series. The 2010 Winter Olympics of Vancouver blessed us with a new installment, with an emphasis on the cool, cold, winter games that I can remember enjoying a lot when I got the game for my 11th birthday in 2009, alongside a lovely new Nintendo DSi to sweeten the day. 2 years later, the 2012 Olympics saw a new Mario and Sonic with new events like football and equestrian. The Sochi Winter Games in 2014 gave way to the first title of the series on the Wii U, and this year's Olympic Games has the most diverse installment of Mario and Sonic ever, featuring up to 35 characters from the 2 gigantic IPs and up to 14 official Olympic events. Huzzah! Overall, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games is mediocre at best. At the time of its release, many fans were disappointed at the reality of it being a cliched sports party gangbang with Mario and Sonic instead of, say, an ambitious adventure with 2 worlds uniting as one, but at the same time, it was one small step for the Wii as a console and one giant leap for what was one of the biggest gaming rivalries of our generation.